When someone attacks you, criticizes you, provokes you, or tries to belittle you, the impulse is always the same: to strike back, to explain yourself, to defend yourself, or to swallow everything until it turns into anger. But what if I told you that all of these reactions are exactly what the attack expects from you? And worse, they're the reason the attack works. The Stoics discovered something uncomfortable: whoever reacts loses. Always. And today, you will learn a psychological trick so simple it almost seems insignificant. But when applied, it makes any attack die on its own. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, surrounded by enemies, betrayals, and constant criticism, wrote something that seems impossible. Your life is what your thoughts make of it. But how does this work in practice? How do you remain untouched when someone tries to hurt you directly? Stay until the end, because the final lesson completely changes the way you deal with attacks, criticism, and provocation. Why attacks affect you. Before learning the Stoic trick, you need to understand an uncomfortable truth. No attack begins outside of you. The words come from outside. The tone comes from outside. The intention comes from outside. But the suffering is born inside. Epictetus, who lived as a slave, said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but the judgments we make about them." This means the attack has no power on its own. It only gains strength when you agree with it, often without realizing it. And here's the mistake almost everyone makes. When someone attacks you, your mind automatically rushes to answer 3 questions. Is this true? What does this person think of me? How do I make this stop? At that exact moment, you have already lost control, because now you are playing the other person's game. The real goal of every attack: few people realize this, but no one attacks to speak the truth. People attack to provoke a reaction: anger, shame, justification, an emotional outburst. The attack does not want to correct you. It wants to move you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is not to become like the offender." When you react on impulse, you give the attack exactly what it wanted: your attention, your energy, your emotional control. And attention is power. That is why Stoicism does not teach you to swallow everything in silence. It teaches something far more strategic: to remove the fuel from the attack. The Stoic psychological trick. Now comes the central point. Pay close attention. When you are attacked, do this: separate the fact from the interpretation. It sounds too simple, but it is devastatingly effective. Imagine someone says, "You are incompetent." What is the fact? Someone produced a sound with their mouth. That's it. Everything else, the pain, the anger, the humiliation, comes from the interpretation. This defines me. He is right. I need to react. Seneca said, "Insults only harm those who bow to them." The Stoic trick is this: do not argue with the attack. Observe it as something external, like distant noise, like the wind passing by. You do not argue with the wind. You do not explain yourself to the wind. You simply continue on your path. The pause that disarms any attack. There is something almost no one does when they are attacked. They pause. Not to think of the best response, but to not respond immediately. Epictetus taught that freedom lives in the space between stimulus and reaction. That pause creates something powerful: discomfort in the aggressor, because now the game has changed. They expected an explosion, a defense, a justification, and they received conscious silence. This silence is not weakness. It is mastery. When the attack is unfair. But what if the attack is unfair? The Stoics had a simple rule: if it is false, it does not belong to me. If it is true, I can learn from it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone points out a fault in me and is correct, I am grateful. If he is wrong, I move on." See how this dissolves the attack. No fight, no ego, no exhaustion, only clarity. The attack is a test of mastery for the Stoics. Attacks were tests, not tests from the world. Internal tests. Does this still control me? Does this decide my mood? Does this rule my mind? Every attack is a silent training session in self-mastery. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you master your reaction, the attack loses its reason to exist.
The fatal mistake: wanting to be understood. Here is a common trap. When attacked, many think, I just need to explain myself better. But the Stoics knew those who attack do not want to understand. They want to win. They want to provoke. They want to unload their emotions. Explaining yourself to someone who does not want to understand is like arguing with a storm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Abandon the need for approval and you will be free." When the attack comes from those you love, now something more delicate. What if the attack comes from someone you love? Family, a partner, people close to you. Here, Stoicism does not teach coldness. It teaches discernment. You listen without absorbing. You analyze without destroying yourself. You respond without reacting. Empathy is not submission. It is awareness. The internal attack. But there is an even more dangerous attack. The internal one. Excessive self-criticism. Constant guilt. Silent comparison. Epictetus said, "Do not be harsher with yourself than you would be with a friend." If you learn to apply the Stoic trick inside your own mind, no external attack survives. The quiet strength. The next time you are attacked, remember this. It is not personal. It is not about you. It is about control. Whoever reacts, loses. Whoever observes, wins. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire without allowing insults to rule his mind. Now I ask you, which attack affects you the most today? Leave it in the comments. If this content resonated with you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to regain control over their emotions. Remember, no one can hurt you without your permission.